Today we're talking about burdens added to your life without your consent. We seem like we're surrounded by things that are always trying to take our time, just a little bit here and there. It's 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. It's just those little impositions, and people are always there to just kind of take up a little bit of your time. And I guess they do it well meaning. People just mess around with you. And it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious when you start realizing that your life is being consumed by all these little things. Some of it's stuff you do to yourself, and then some of it is stuff that people do just because they're trying to be social. It's like, okay, I want to have people in my life. Don't get me wrong. I do. I want to have people in my life. But it's amazing how few people you need before your life starts to get busy, because all it takes is somebody that wants to go hang out with you, and next thing you know, there's another $50 gone. There's another few hours of your evening gone, right? Somebody calls you on the phone. There's another hour gone. And that's just little things people do. And then there's the stuff you do to yourself, like, scrolling Facebook or getting, into the habit of, scrolling through, I guess, like, YouTube or news articles or whatever it might be. There's always this stuff, just tons and tons of distractions. And people are always there, sort of hovering around, looking for opportunities to throw something extra at you. And people don't care about your personal finances. They don't care about your personal time. They don't care about your personal achievements. They just want to get attention. That's kind of what people are. They're attention hogs. That's what people want to do. They want attention. We all want attention, right? I mean, I guess I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't want attention to some degree. And yet, you don't want to push everybody away, don't get me wrong. But you also want to be careful with this, because you can wind up in a situation where you don't have time for yourself because you're so busy being distracted by everyone else's trivial stuff that they want to add to your plate for no other reason than the fact that people are social creatures and they want attention. It's nice when it serves a purpose, but it's easy to get overloaded with that stuff. And you gotta simplify your life, and you gotta look for ways to cut out the fat, because it's amazing how little it really takes before you start to lose efficiency in your life, because everywhere you turn, you have something that's consuming your time and your money. And then, are those people going to be there when it's time for you to retire? No. Are those people going to be there? YouTube videos going to save you when you get to the end of your life and you didn't get to the things you wanted to get done? Like, no. So, if you want to read that book, then you got to take the time and actually read the book instead of scrolling on your phone. If you want to do something for yourself, pursue a hobby, well, you got to cut out all those other things that people want you to do. And then be very cautious, and make sure that the things that you're doing, they serve a purpose, and make sure that something that's once in a while doesn't just turn into a habit. Because if it's something you want to do and it's once in a while, that's usually not a bad thing. But if it's something you're doing all the time, that's when it becomes a compounding burden in your life. And I think people don't realize just how much a little thing can add up when you do it times 100. And that's where habits of how we spend time with other people, how we spend our money, all these things, it's just it's important for us to be cautious about what we're doing with ourselves. And, don't let yourself get into a situation where you're getting overloaded with the noise, I mean, it's just so easy to do. And when you simplify your life, things get better. But it's hard. It's much easier said than done, you know? So, man, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's kind of something I think about more now because the stakes feel higher. But I think about how much of my life I've spent being distracted by things. And then I know I've gotten better about it, but then I still think about all the things that keep me, even now, from doing stuff I want to do. And, like today, I was, hanging around with a friend of mine. I got stuck on a telephone call longer than I meant to. I was sucked into just, catching up on the evening news and kind of vegetating there a little bit. And, next thing you know, 5 o'clock turns into 10 o'clock. And I'm like, man, I didn't really, I didn't do some of the stuff I wanted to do this evening. And, you hang out with somebody, and then next thing you know, they are like, oh, what are you doing next weekend? Or what are you doing, a couple days from now or something? And then it's not, it's not just that once-off thing. Now you got like a habitual commitment, So if it costs $50 to eat out once, then you do it once, and then people want to do it some more. And the next thing you know, what do you got? It's like $200 a month bill because you have somebody that wants to go hang out every week. What can you do with $200? Like, it's something, right? I don't know, man. You gotta be careful with your time. You gotta be jealous about your time. Because money we can get more money. We can't get more time. And all the people in the world, they're gonna treat you like the least important thing in your life is your time and your money. Like, you should never care about how you spend your money, and you should never care about how you spend your time as long as you're spending it all on somebody other than yourself. People's idea of selfishness is actually greed. Because if you're selfish, in the sense that you just you spend your time by yourself and you invest in yourself, then you're going to have something to leave behind down the road. So, I guess less is more sometimes. When people try to make you feel like all the stuff you want to do doesn't really matter and it's not all that important, and they just assume that you should be there to do the stuff they want to do and you should be there for them, well, I don't know. You be careful about that. Because you can pretty easily make your way through your whole life, and then you realize that you were there, being there for your boss, being there for your pals, being there for your relationships, being there for every single person in the world other than yourself. And then you realize you lived your whole life and you never had a chance to even stop and hear yourself think. And nobody else is going to have a problem with it, because as far as they're concerned, that's the definition of a good life. But you're going to know you could have done more. You really can't add a lot of good things into your life until you get rid of a few bad things. And, there's this verse in the Bible that says that, demon-possessed man kicks out the demon, and then the demon heads out and he rides all over the place, and he comes back to find that the man's soul, where he used to be, was all swept up and cleared up and nice and empty, and the demon moves right on back in with a bunch more of his pal buddies, and then that man who was just possessed with one demon before is now possessed with a bunch of them, and it says that he's more all messed up than ever before. We do that sometimes. We lose one thing that's bad in our life, one problem, and then you start to realize once you clean up your life, once you start working on yourself, then all these little things start trying to slip back in again. And you always have to keep on doing more purges and doing more cleaning. Because You can't just clean up and be done. The dust keeps on coming back. People keep on unloading their demons. And if you're not careful, you inherit them. So you be careful about that. Make sure, out of all the things you do in your life, you make time to be sure that it is your life. That you don't sell your life, sell your time, give away all your spiritual and physical capital to people who don't care about your soul. Thank you for watching.